we're here with Atlanta. I'm calling it star. I'm gonna call him a star right now. You know, I think that's what his future. I think that's what's in store for his future. The Atlanta Hawks star guard Trae Young, rookie. What's going on, my guy?
What's up, my man? You doing all right?
Man, I've been hanging in. First of all, I'm all right, but you great, man. I'm here. I'm in the penthouse of Trae Young. Here, what city is this, Trae?
No, we here in Atlanta. We in Buckhead.
Buckhead, not Bankhead.
No, not
That's
Bankhead.
different.
No,
That's
it's different. That's different. It's
That's where
Buckhead. T.I. grew up. T.I. grew up.
No, I'm saying, man, y'all can't see. You know, we trying to get a little bit of privacy in here. But, man, Trae got the pool table, the red custom Hawks colored pool table out there, man. Like, it's got a nice view. We got the curtains down, but nice view of the city. I can see downtown Atlanta, man. What made you decide to be in this area, Trae?
It's a super nice area. I wanted a penthouse. I don't know what it was. I just always wanted a penthouse, and coming out of college, I could get one in this nice area, and couldn't turn it down whenever we were looking at a spot. So it's super nice area, super nice spot. So.
Now, Trae, I'm gonna tell you, like I'm very mindful of the company I'm around, and so you know, whenever I do these interviews, man, I like to make sure I come and the guest feels like I'm coming in with a level of respect. So I'm all draped out. Trae, I'm all draped out in Adidas, man. It's Adidas from head to toe. Y'all check me, you know what I mean?
These are fire shoes,
You know what I'm saying right there? You know, I'm draped out, man. Because I hate when people come in. Hopefully you don't have this problem anytime soon. You hate when people come in with wearing some other different apparel.
Other brands, yeah.
Come on, man.
Nah, you gotta have 3 stripe when you walk in
I like that.
the Trae Young spot.
Remember you said that.
Okay. I will.
So look, I know you've been getting a lot of talk every time we're talking about your play this year. You know, they're talking about Dallas Mavericks rookie Luka Dončić.
Yeah.
Are you getting tired of hearing that comparison?
I think it's just gonna come with it. I think what happened on draft night, the trade that happened, I think it's just a part of my journey now. We're gonna be linked together forever, so can't fight it, can't run from it. Just gotta embrace it and enjoy the little challenge, I guess. So
it is a challenge. I mean, I would imagine. Well, I'll let you answer it. But is there a little pressure? You know, you guys were traded, and there was some talk. You know, some critics, people saying, "Wow, they shouldn't have traded. They shouldn't have swapped." Is there any pressure to try to live up to make sure that you were the right pick and it was worth the trade?
Yeah, I think for me, I don't want to let anybody down. I don't want to let people feel like, I let them down. And for me, I think it's not necessarily pressure. It's just like a type of feeling that I have that, I need to go out there and perform and, represent ATL, represent the Hawks, represent the city as best as I can. And, I think if we win, make playoffs, win championships, all that will go out of the way. And people will stop talking about the trade as much, for sure.
Trae, now you mentioned those are some big accomplishments if you're able to do that.
No.
I don't know if you checked out Atlanta's history.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of hardware, you know, here. I was looking in the arena, you know, there's Central Division banners. Mm-hmm. There's not much more than that, Trae. You see something else in store?
No, I do. I think everything's there's changes that happen all the time. Mm-hmm. And there's something that can change here in the city of Atlanta. We have a lot of really good young players. John Collins, everybody's seen what he's done from his rookie year to now, the jump he's made, and the rookies that came in with me, Kevin Huerter, Amari Spellman, we've all started at one time this year together. Like, we're all growing together, and then we have some really good vets as well. So I think the combination that we have and the growth we've shown this year, who knows where we'll be in the next 5 years.
And I will say this, you know, Atlanta it's one of those cities where it's overlooked. And I'll say this. I've covered a lot of teams, and I've seen the look in players' eyes, that tired, fatigued look. Mm-hmm. When they get ready to play you guys on game day, because they've been out late at night in Atlanta. I don't know what they were doing. You know, I can't speak to that, Trae.
Yeah.
But I just know that they're doing something, Trae.
Yeah.
They miss practice. Sometimes do you see players that you just when you're playing against that day, you see like, hey, this ain't their best. Like, have you ever?
Nah, yeah, I have. I think you noticed that. This is definitely a city where teams stay overnight or teams get in early to enjoy the city of Atlanta, which they should. Come out, have a good time when you come to Atlanta. But you definitely see it sometimes. I've seen it a couple times.
Of course, you've seen it a couple times. Okay,
I've seen it.
You ain't experienced it yourself.
Not the nightlife.
Not you. Yeah,
I'm talking about the players that come in. I'm talking about the players.
Not
other players. Not me.
Just make that clear, Trae. Make that clear. Sure. I was looking at just how people received you, when you were drafted and just how the rise. Yeah, I was just going back and looking at film and people commentating and what you've been able to do. Like, did you ever really think? So go back to when you committed to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever think when you committed to Oklahoma that you might be in the state where you are right now?
I envisioned it. To be honest, going into college, me and my family, even talking to Coach Kruger, like our plan was to come in and be there 2 years, just to give me a year of development and then do some big things in my freshman year, and then that sophomore year come back and make some noise. And
so you didn't live up to you didn't uphold
what I was saying. Nah, like I just said earlier.
That was the plan.
Yeah, like I said, changes happen. I came out. Things happened. I played the way I did last year and made a little bit of noise and was able to, into the NBA draft. So anytime you have a chance to achieve your dreams and live out your dreams, you gotta take a shot at it. A little bit of noise. That's an understatement. When did you know? When did you know in your head, Trae? At what game did you know in your head, this might be it? Game 16, was it this might? When did you know? Oh, I don't know. There was a couple of games last year. I think really the first game that I was like, okay, this may be the year. When we played at Wichita State, they were ranked number 3 in the country. We were unranked, and I went out. We won on the road. I put up, I think it was close to 27 and 10 or something like that. And I remember we got a big win and everything. It just the media attention, everything just flipped, and it was just a crazy feeling. Ever since then, I was like, if I keep this up, it could be crazy. I've never, we've had a lot of dynamic players and guards in the league, but what you were doing, and I think the way you were doing it as well, obviously you had the comparisons with Steph and Curry. Did any of that bother you at that time? It was just constant Steph comparisons? Yeah, for me, I never asked for the Steph comparisons. I just got them just the way I was playing, and I think people were comparing me to him because of the long range shooting, and the flair we had when we play. And I don't think it's unfair, but at the same time, I tried to just block it out as much as I could, and just try to focus on being the best Trae I could be, and that's all I was trying to do. And players like yourself, I'm talking about college players who received a lot of hype. You go back to I go back to some of the Duke guys, who dominated in college. Once you get to the NBA level, players want to test you from day one. And this is what I was talking to my 559 guys, Mark and Terrence, about this earlier. It's not making any excuses, but when you came into the league, you were a target from day one. Mm-hmm. And Luka Dončić, having a stellar year, might very well end up being the rookie of the year. But, he was able to come and kind of go under the radar initially. And then over time, people started recognizing his game. But I think you've gotten the best defender every night. Is that safe? I don't know if I don't want to put words in your mouth, but, is that safe to say, when you came in, did you feel like you were targeted? Yeah, well, I think it was just because, people here see me a lot more than they did Luka coming in. I compare it to more like my freshman year in college. Like coming into college, no one really knew. I mean, people knew who I was. I was a 5-star recruit and things like that, McDonald's All-American. But as far as the NBA level type of guy, they didn't really respect me the way I felt like they should coming in. And I think that's why I made the big impact, and I did. And so I think that's kind of like what Luka is doing right now.
That's a good point.
I think, he's played really well all year, playing at a super high level. And I think that's kind of like how it was for me. And the more people saw who I was and were able to, adjust and to how they guarded me, things like that. So
I remember, I don't know if you remember this, Trae. You probably do. So the first time I met you and Pops, who Pops is over there chilling, man, the legend, Trae Young.
Yeah.
Pops, he's going to come join us in a minute. But the first time I met you guys, I was covering the finals. It was Golden State and Cleveland. You guys were there on the court baseline. I chopped it up with you and Pops. But then the second time, so this was when I was with my former employee that I was on the jump. Mm-hmm. And we did a segment about, I believe it was a summer league. I want to say, my memory may be off a little bit. I want to say you probably got into it with a player.
Yeah, Grayson Allen.
It was Grayson Allen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Grayson
So
Allen.
okay, you got into it with a player, and then I think somebody else got involved. But I made a comment on TV, and I said, you know what? I think they went after Trae and not the big guy, because I think they could take Trae. You know what I mean? And so I forgot all about that. So after the show is over, I'm walking in the concourse in one of the arenas in Las Vegas, and you come by, and I just came to shake your hand. You was like, "Yeah, I saw what you said.
Yeah. No, I see everything. I watched the jump. I watched all that. I see everything. I saw you talking about me.
Yeah, that was funny. I was like, man, the show just ended, Trae. Like, no, wait, how you check that out?
No.
But no, have you have you found, like, I imagine throughout your basketball career, high school, college, you always had to prove or show a level of toughness?
Yeah, no, for sure. That's for me. That's a big thing. Just being a smaller guard, someone who, just had to work for everything. I've got. And I think a lot of it starts with toughness and just. I grew up also in Oklahoma City, where I was going to Thunder games since I was a kid, watching Russell Westbrook play all the time, and I think that toughness and that grit just came from just the people who I grew up around, my dad and everybody in his family, my mom, everybody were just all tough people. And watching Russ growing up, I think a little bit of that came inside me too.
I can see a little bit of that, especially when, recently, you made, what game was that, Trae? You did the stare down?
Oh, the Bulls. The Bulls game.
Bulls, man. I was for sure. I was certain that they were going to rescind that, man.
Yeah.
Like, now that I can imagine you kind of feel like there's a level of restraint on you now. Like, you can't play with it. Were you surprised they didn't rescind that?
Yeah, for me, I was surprised. You can't go against the refs and what they say. You can't really comment too much about it. But for me, it was tough because I play with emotion and flair. Like, that's not the first time. Yeah, and the next day I see Bradley Beal dunk on somebody and stare him down. Like, it's okay. It happens, but
maybe it's Bradley Beal. Maybe it's just, I guess they feel like you got to pay your dues.
You got to pay your dues. It's all right. I'm a rookie.
Yeah. Like, I can't make a good play.
Yeah.
No, that was weak. Like I said, I gave the official, like, okay, he gave you a technical. That was your second tech of the game. Mm-hmm. You got ejected. I'm like, all right, whatever. It was wrong. He should have did it, whatever. So I'm like, okay, the league is going to fix that. Didn't rescind it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's all right. I moved past it. I'm done past it, but it definitely was a little bit of frustrating.
So let's look at your game, and I'm bringing Pops on for a little bit. Let's look at your game and what you've been able to do right now. I see your heart. You got some hardware over here. The Rookie of the Month awards. Are these the last three? Let me see. That's November, January. You didn't get December?
Nah.
Who got December?
Kevin Knox.
Kevin Knox. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
I feel like I should have got it too. I should have got it that month too. But it's all good. It's all good.
You got two more. How do you feel like? Look, man. If we're talking January on, I think there's no doubt you're unanimously the Rookie of the Year. Do you feel like there's enough time? And do you feel, is this something that you really want? Like, is this something like you desperately crave?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I want to be the best, and I mean, if being Rookie of the Year and getting the hardware is going to determine if I'm the best rookie in my class, I mean, of course I want to win it. I still believe there is time. I think my month of November, the way I played, the shooting, really hurt me this year. Looking back at it, if I could do it over again, I would, and just play the way I've been now. But I think I had to go through that to be where I'm at now. So I still think there's time left. I don't think it's over with.
What was it about that month, Trae, that you said, what could you have done differently? Was it that you figured something out?
I think just being like my first time seeing teams. I think the first time you see certain guards, it's a different type of level. And so after that month, I was seeing the guard for the second and third time, so I was able to know how defenses were guarding me and how I could attack, things like that. So I think it was just the second and third time I was seeing teams, I had a better feel for them.
Now, you two are close, and obviously he takes his father's guidance seriously. How do you feel about him having this penthouse all to himself? Like, what limitations does he still? Is he still listening to you? Do you still lay down the law and tell him what he can and cannot do?
Nah. I mean, he listens to me just because he's a respectful young man. But at the end of the day, you know, I gotta let him grow up and be a man also. But it was funny. So this summer, he was staying in LA, getting ready for the draft, and he just told me like that. I want to get a penthouse with windows from the wall to the ceiling. So,
yeah, that's all I wanted.
So he didn't ask about any prices. Like he's like, I don't care how much it costs. That's what I want.
That's what.
Yeah. So as a dad, you know, as long as it was in the budget, I said, okay, we'll make that happen. And I found a few places for him, and you know, he fell in love with this one, and you know, here we are.
When you talk about the long-range bombers out there in this league, to me, only about three come to mind: Steph, Dame, yourself. Who was the first coach who allowed you to shoot that shot? Like, cause you know, that's something you just don't just start out the blue. You gotta have confidence to shoot it, and you gotta have a coaching staff who allows you to be able to go out and do that.
Yeah, I don't even think I could do that when my dad was coaching me. But I think probably like when I was coming up, like I tell people all the time, I used to be like a shooting guard. Like I never like dribbling the ball at the court, and I was on a team with a lot of guards, so I was on the wing all the time. And then as people grew taller, I was still staying the same size. So for me, I love shooting, and all I did was just scoot my range further and further back. So growing up, that's how I developed such long range shooting. And I think it was probably in high school, Coach Merritt, Norman North High School. He was probably the first person since my freshman year that let me shoot it.
Did he? Was it verbally, or is something that he just didn't stop you? He didn't say anything. He just
didn't. He
was getting the shots. I mean, Trae was making shots, but also, let's be honest, I was looking at other high schools for Trae to go to. So so he kind of
sense, man.
So
that
he was
makes sense.
You know, let me give this kid some freedom.
Yeah, that's a smart business decision.
Yeah, no, but it was fun. I was making them now.
No, I can tell. That's what I'm saying. It's like the game has evolved to the point where defenses are spread out now. And, you know, a lot of times, like I say this all the time, like everybody can't do what they do. And, you know, now you got everybody shooting threes. I mean, Andre Drummond just shot a three and it hit the side of the back. Yeah, I mean, it's like, is the NBA, you know, any one of you guys can answer this or both, has the three-point or a love for the three-point ball kind of hurt the game, or do you think this is beneficial long term?
Yeah.
Well, I think as an old school basketball player, you know, it's kind of frustrating to watch sometimes, but the game has evolved, and I know as far as the way I look at it, you know, I think it's a blessing, especially for my son, because if we're just being honest here, guys like Stephen Curry have allowed my son to be in this position where he's at today. So I kind of see both sides of it, but at the end of the day, I think the athletes are better. The players are better. The shooting is better, especially from range. I can show you pictures and videos of my son as a 11, 12-year-old watching Dame Lillard coming to OKC to play the Thunder, and Trae sitting in the stands watching him shoot it from deep, and then the next week, watching Steph, come to OKC and he's watching him shoot it like that. So I just think it's developed, and Trae's been someone who's been able to benefit from that.
I think it's still even going to evolve even more. Like you hear people even talking about expanding into a 4-point line.
Can we stop that?
And that's what's crazy. And I'm not saying that I
blame
like it.
you.
And
I blame you for that. But go ahead.
But I just think that's something it's even going to evolve even more. Like maybe not in my playing career, but later on down the road, it could evolve. 4-point line.
That's that. Maybe.
You don't mess with it, Chris?
You don't like all these threes.
I mean, I don't even call that evolving, man. I just call that just, man. Changing for the worse, man. Like, come on.
But think about it, man. We don't have the days of the John Sallies anymore. And
I understand.
The Moses Malones that are, getting 20 rebounds a game and just, staying in the lane, dominating. The game's changed.
The game's changed because, so I'll say this. See, so I want a perfect person to ask. Somebody who's trained their son throughout. When you're working out, let me give you an example. So say somebody hands you their kid at 8 years old. This kid is projected to be 7'1" when he gets away. And now you look at how other people train. They're training them just specifically, just to be, guard related skills. How are you? Is it just guard related skills? Like how do you what's the focus and structure as you train this young man?
Well, first of all, if he's projected to be 7'1" as an 8-year-old, I don't know who that doctor is that projected him. But
I said example.
Yeah. No, I got you. That makes sense. I got you. We good. But no, I mean, seriously though, I think the first thing I would do is just spend so much time on his footwork. That's what I did with Trae.
Yeah.
I mean, Trae as a youngster, we went to the gym and we would, put up some shots and do some stuff, but it was mainly, working on his foot, his foot speed, his footwork, and just knowing how to, move on the court. Because I think when you go back and you study guys like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, that's what they talk about is just having good footwork. Yeah, so that's what I would do with any young kid these days. That's what I did with mine. Not to say it's going to work for everybody, but that's what I would do.
And footwork translates to like post play.
Exactly.
That's what it's about. Players don't have that. Know how to use their pivots correctly, reverse and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Like little things like that.
It's a lot of traveling going on in the league.
Ooh, boy. I mean, you brought up Bradley Beal earlier, getting away with the stare down. Get away. Bills have freedom this season, boy. Man, so all right. So I'm kind of trying to end on a couple of ask questions. When you think of the Atlanta Hawks, what comes to mind?
I mean, there's a couple Hall of Famers. I think of a great city to play in. I think of a great tradition, and I just think of a bright future.
I'm glad you answered that so diplomatically because I was having this conversation with my brother yesterday. We were at the game. You guys played the Pelicans the other night, and I said let's name our top starting lineup all time for the Hawks, like the best starting lineup all time for the Hawks. So we're like going, we're struggling. Dominique, of course, small forward.
Chris got jokes.
We had Steve Smith.
Jokes, right?
We had Steve. We had Steve Smith or Joe Johnson at the 2. We're kind of debating. Kevin Willis at the 4, Mutombo at the 5, and in point guard, I said Mookie. And my brother was like, "Nah, I think Trae got it already."
No, we can't. No, we can't be disrespecting Mookie like that, man.
Mookie's a legend.
Yeah.
He's a legend in Oklahoma too. So
yeah.
So
that's right. That's right.
Respect.
No, I'm just saying. I went. Who's that?
Oh, Stacey
Augmon. Yeah, he could, but he doesn't make the list because you got. So let's say you go Mookie. Who's the 2?
Well, I mean, Steve Smith would be the 2, or he'd be the 3.
Smith, okay, you put Steve Smith over Joe Johnson?
Nah. Yeah.
You put him on, okay, Steve Smith. Then you got Dominique at the 4. I mean, at the 3.
Yeah, Dominique at the 3.
At the 4. Was Kevin Willis a 5?
I don't have him at the 4 or the 5.
You don't have the 4 or 5, huh?
But no, you have to.
Okay.
He's at the 5.
You over Mutombo?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Mutombo 5.
Yeah, Mutombo. I forgot about Mutombo. See, when I think about him, I'm thinking about the Sixers because they went to the finals.
Yeah,
him and Iverson. But he was here.
His jersey retired.
His jersey retired there.
That's true.
True. I couldn't think of anybody at the 4. Man. I know I'm gonna get killed on social media for not,
Yeah, you almost had me calling out John Concat. You don't know nothing about John Concat.
Yeah, that's before my time too.
Yeah, y'all some young bucks.
You can't move down to the 4.
No, Dominique got to be a 3. Oh, you got Pistol Pete.
Pistol Pete. So buy Mookie, huh?
Nah, you got to have Mookie in there, man. Because he's a Oklahoma Sooner.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that's his Oklahoma bias over there. So I ain't trying to get y'all in trouble. I was just saying. I brought that up to say that you have a real opportunity to really take hold of this franchise like for the first time since. I guess like Dominique. I was at the game last night, and I would say this.
Wait, hold on, man. So we're not gonna throw Al Horford or none of those guys in there that won 60 games and went to the Western Conference Finals?
You know what? Al Horford may be that 4. Yeah. Al Horford may be that 4. Nobody else on that starting 5, no. No. Jeff Teague, no. Kyle Korver, no.
I like those guys, but
Al Horford,
maybe not all the time.
Yeah,
I would say Al Horford. Yeah,
that's why we need the veteran presence right here, Mr.
That's what I'm here for, man.
Y'all named some guys I ain't never heard of before. I've only seen their names on the billboards in Atlanta in the locker room.
He's too young for that. But no, like when you think of just having an opportunity to really grab hold of this franchise, man. I mean, it has to be. That has to be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it definitely is pretty cool. But for me, I know I gotta take it one day at a time and enjoy it. But it's I definitely see it, and for me, I'm enjoying it.
All right. Let me ask you this, man. Who's your rookie of the year?
Come on, man.
Give me. Hold on. No. Listen. Because it's going to be an opportunity because you're TV savvy. You're TV savvy. You get on there, you're polished. You're very articulate. But when you get on TV, they want your unbiased opinion. You're on TV right now. They want your unbiased opinion right now. Who's your rookie?
I mean, it's easy to me. It's easy. I mean, how could you not? I'm not even gonna say my son. How could you not say Trae Young is the MVP? Like at the very least, he should be co-MVP this year. I'm not gonna disrespect Luka and what he's done. Because he's coming to this league. As a kid who's been a pro, for 3 or 4 years and just continued that journey of being a pro. But for my son, who should be a sophomore in high school, should be a sophomore in college to come into the NBA and do what he's done. I mean, he had 49 and 16, man.
I know.
I mean, he's had over 8 or 9 games with 20 and 10. I mean, he's dropping, 30 and 15 on NBA vets. I'm not gonna call out any names.
Why not?
I'm not gonna do it. I want to, but I'm not gonna do that. But I think the most important thing, Chris, to be honest, is, based on all the knocks that were put on my son, he's the only rookie this year, and this is something nobody talks about. And I want to knock on wood when I say this, but he's the only rookie this year that has started and played every game. Okay. And I think that says a lot. I know some other rookies missed some games for some other reasons, but he's started, he's played every game, he's put up Rookie of the Year numbers, he's did things at the point guard position that no one-and-done point guard, now listen to what I'm saying, not rookie point guard, but no one-and-done point guard has ever done. So, for me, it's a no-brainer. But that's not to take away from anything Luka's done as well. But
no doubt.
That's just real.
Troy, I'm more direct with you on that question. Do you think you are the Rookie of the Year this year, man?
Yeah, for me, it's the same.
Okay,
it's the same.
I see where you get it from.
Yeah, we definitely it's respect. Like Luka's had a really good year. DeAndre's even had a really good year. Jaren Jackson, before he got injured, had a really good year. I mean, this rookie class is deep. At the same time, I feel like I'm the best one in it.
Damn. Okay. We'll try, man. Hey, this was fun, man.
Yeah, I mean,
this was fun.
Yeah, this was great, man. You know, just know Trae understands you don't get to this level without having some confidence, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, nobody don't.
It's it's a borderline cockiness, but it's more confidence than anything. So, and I don't ever want to take that away from my son. So, it is what it is.
No, nobody confuses that with being cocky at all. I mean, the way you act, the way you approach the game, and your personality, that's what got you to this point. I just want to know, like, so, do you guys have any? I'm done, right? I'm gonna say, but you guys have. Look, we here. We don't get to Atlanta much. You know, I got the 559 here. Do you guys have any recommendations of what we can get into tonight?
I'll leave that up to him, man.
Food spots?
I mean, food could be there, but you know.
Nah, man, I'm good. I'm 20, man. I'm 20. I don't know all the spots out here.
Oh man.
Hold on, Chris. I'm about to hit you up with a place.
Got, man?
I'm about to hit you up with a place.
You gonna hit me up with a place?
You need to hit up. It's the most famous place in town, I heard, as far as going to go eat.
Go eat. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, nah, I'm 20. I don't know all
Mary Mac.
Mary Mac's. Is that soul food?
Yeah. I went there yesterday. Mary Mac. Yeah, it's
all right.
It's a real deal. You go in there, you see all the pictures of the, most famous, people that have ever come to this town, and they all try out Mary Mac.
We there. You giving them a big glowing view right there.
Yes,
there.
Sir.
We there. Hey, my guys, I appreciate y'all, man.
Appreciate you.
Post it up.
Yeah.
Now, we're here with the 559 posted up pod. Now, this is a rarity. This is a first. So usually we bring on Mark Haynes, my brother, my best friend Terrence Hall. We bring them on to talk about what we just heard from, the players I interviewed. But we got the player joining the post pod. So
yes,
it's like,
sir.
How can we do the post pod in his house?
Can't talk bad about him in his own house.
You can't.
We can't. I gotta watch what y'all say on this one.
No, he had to join just to make sure we wasn't talking crazy about him.
Yeah.
So y'all heard what all Trae said, man. Any problems? What Trae said? What the Pops Rafer said?
He don't know this, but he been my guy since high school. I seen high school highlights of him, like shooting and just playing with that flair. He had showmanship. What was special to me about him, he didn't kill people with just being more athletic than everybody. He killed people with skill in high school, and it's just translated all the way to now. And it's like this that dude.
With me, I didn't have any problem with what he said. To be honest, he kind of reminded me of myself in my game. That quick release. That quick release, man. Y'all know how I used to do.
I love it.
Y'all, you know what I mean? You told me to tell the truth out here, man. I gotta tell the truth.
Man. Hey, that's
quick
really,
release.
That's really him, man.
Hey, and I was pulling deep, so he pulling deep.
I
was just ahead of my time.
He had the flair.
Deep.
He had the flair.
I love everything he had to say and had going on. And I like everything Pops had to say too, because I'm a Pop, so he reminded me of myself and pushing my son as well. So, everything's all good, bro.
Trae, when did you? I wanted to ask you that thing, but I forgot. What was the player who you saw during the season for the first time and you were just in awe? Like, what was that one player?
I think whenever we went out to Golden State, and not necessarily Steph. It was, KD, like someone who I've been close with for a long time. Like I've known him since when I was a kid, like in high school growing up. Like I would go over to his house and we'd watch college basketball games, things like that. Like it's crazy being on the same floor with him just because I've known him for so long. So I think that was probably the person I was like, man, this is crazy. But ever since that, I was like, that was cool.
Trae, I was told, look, man, I don't know if people know this, but I was told the league wanted you in that 3-point contest.
Yeah.
And so you knew that, like
Well, yeah, I'd heard about that.
Okay, but it was like was it a percentage thing?
Yeah, it's percentage things. Like I said, my month in November was so terrible. It was like 18, 19%. It was bad. So that's the reason why.
But can you imagine the 3-point shootout? They won't see Steph. This guy, that field would have been crazy. Yeah.
Next year,
especially with the comparisons, like
that's what I'm saying.
For them to go head to head, and then you know what I mean.
Right, you gotta have them shoot right after.
You feel me?
Right back to back.
I know there's a standard 3-point percentage or 3-point makes. They want the high.
We made exceptions for All-Star players this year.
This was a unique situation.
We could have did for real.
They got Dirk out there, and Dirk talking about coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
That's fact.
Well, hold on, man.
He ain't even announced yet.
He ain't announced yet. But hold on, Trae got a teammate.
Yeah,
that say he's coming back.
Who,
but he's still playing. He's still producing.
Hey,
now
should have had Vince in that dunk contest. That would have been raw. Like had D Wade, Dirk, and the Austin. Hey, I think he still got it. I know Trae. I know at practice he done did some stuff.
The last remembrance that we have of Vince in the dunk contest is what he did in the Bay Area, man. Mm-hmm. Just put on a show.
Yeah.
We don't want to see the last, our last thoughts and our last.
Man, he still got something in his bag.
No, Vince is
still got something in his bag, bro.
Yeah, but the bag is a little more closed up now.
Hey,
it's prestigious.
No, Vince.
He still got a lot in his bag, bro.
What have you seen? What does Vince still have in his bag as far as?
No, it really does look like he be floating, like still. Like he can jump, and it's like it's so effortless. Like, I kind of want to see what it's like if he really tries to jump. Like, if you see him in warm-ups, he don't even be stretching. Like, he puts on his clothes. Like, we our lockers are right next to each other. So he does the same thing every game. He puts on his clothes. He does his little energy drink or whatever and just goes out and just goes to the warm-up line. He'll do a little 360, just messing around, or a little windmill, easy. And I'm like, I don't know.
I seen one of his highlights. He went up like that, like he was on bang, and he
yeah.
You know what I mean? The whole crowd, even the bench was like, another one of the bench is like, going crazy.
You can tell Vince still has another year left. He wants to play another year. He has it.
He wants to play. He's not just going to a team to try to chase a ring. He want to play, bro.
Look, man, he brought us in his home, man, on his off day.
Yeah,
man.
Appreciate it.
That's all love.
No, I appreciate this, man.
Big
Real
juicy.
talk, man.
Thank you for having me, y'all.
The best, man. This is the 559
Rookie of the Year.
Posted up pod.
Rookie of the Year.
We're ending it right here. You calling it right now?
Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year.